It's time for Inside the Trenches with Super Bowl champion and national champion Marlon Favorite. Get ready for the top stories in the world of sports and entertainment. Hello, somebody. It's Inside the Trenches. Let's go.
What's happening, beautiful people? It's the host of Inside the Trenches, Marlon Favorite. I hope y'all are having an amazing evening. And thank y'all so much for tuning in to Inside the Trenches right here on ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM. Checking out this great show, baby. And that we do have for y'all a great show today. Joining me today in the studio, I'll have Dr. Kendra. We'll be talking about just some tidbits for the athletes that's out there training this summer, how to put together a proper nutritional menu for your breakfast, lunch, dinner, just the different foods to help with soreness, pain, fatigue. You might be needing a little more energy. Dr. Kendra Andrews is going to talk to us about that. And then I'm going to have the homie Mario Jerez talk a little Saints OTA with us, give us his perspective. And that's not just one person, it's two. CL Nola, Inside the Trenches' very own co-host, made it out to the Saints OTAs, had a chance to talk with Taysom Hill. Can't wait to hear what CL had to say about that. And then later on in the show, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the NFL teams and some of the biggest strengths for next season. And y'all know how we like to do it around here sometime. We're going to go 5 with Fave. I'm going to talk about could the Saints defensive line be a top 5 defensive line here in our league in the NFL? Well, y'all, it's a lot of OTA activities going on right now across the NFL, organized team activities happening right now. And when this time of the year come around, I think back to my days in the NFL and what it really took to make a major impression on these coaches in this time frame. But in the same token, what it even takes to get there. And right now, we're at a different spot in sports, right? We're living in the NIL era. And so many of these players are producing exceptionally well on the front end that when they get to the NFL, I don't know if it's like a work ethic imbalance or what, but I was just kind of looking at the two sides of the story. There's this one side of the story where if you're a veteran in this league, you have to continue to earn your keeps, right? So some guys have a little bit of a security blanket. Let's take a team like the Saints. Derek Carr has a blanket, but he also have a lot to prove. It's guaranteed money out there, yeah, but it brings on a different pressure, right? You have guys like, and I'm using the Saints players because obviously it's ESPN New Orleans and, Saints is our team. Saints go all the way. Saints go all the way. I believe. Yeah, hello. But let's take a guy like Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara has that blanket and he has wiggle room as well. He's proven in this league. We've seen year in and year out Alvin Kamara be exceptionally productive in this league. Sometimes over exceeds expectations. Hence his first year in the league. You have a guy that's drafted, Alvin comes to us in the 4th round out of Tennessee and puts up monster numbers his first few years in the league. So a guy like Alvin, he just had a kid, right? He just had, in addition to the family, he has a lot of off-season ventures that he's doing back in his hometown. So it's tons of stuff going on for him, but he has the wiggle room where it's not so much mandatory for a guy like Alvin. He wants to be there, but just listening to Coach Allen talking about Alvin's situation, you have a guy who is communicating with Coach Kuviak and is still doing what he have to do in regards to working out and staying in shape. He's done that before. But when you have a guy like, throwing it back like me, who played in this league, but I couldn't say, hey, yeah, my wife's about to have our little one. I'm going to be down there. So I'm going to be down there, all right. I'm going to get that email. Your contract has been terminated. Thanks for your time with our club. Tweet me at BigFave504. What's the funniest OTA stories you ever heard, right? Or you have any storylines coming out of OTAs right now? But here in New Orleans, and that's why I'm really interested in hearing from Mario and CL, I like the direction the team is headed. I think I was reading an article on CBS Sports. It talked about teams and where over the last few years they've exceeded. And the Saints has always done exceptionally well defensively. That's why it worked out so much. Like the coaching relationship between Coach Sean Payton and Coach Dennis Allen, even in those lateral years to Coach Payton's time here in New Orleans, we saw that. We saw the chemistry between the two coaches, the balance on the Saints' defense, lockdown corners like Delvin Breaux over that time frame, Keenan Lewis's of the world, and then Drew Brees just constantly knocking down milestones. That's another thing I'm seeing a lot, even on our platform here at ESPN. Our national stage keeps talking about how when you look at since 2010, Drew Brees touchdowns and like all of that stuff comes into play. But when you look at the way this team is now structured, you have a lot of hope in this new offense. A lot of hope. You have some young guys, some young veterans as well, like Eric McCoy. He's in his 4th season here with the New Orleans Saints. That's fairly young, but he has enough playing time. Cesar Ruiz, we draft him in the 1st round out of Michigan. Playing time. This is year 3 for him. You bring in a high priority rookie and Talise Fuaga, a young man who fits this offense exceptionally well. The wide zone, the inside run, all these pre-snap motions and stuff that goes on right here in this new offense. And I know it's getting fans excited more than anything else. We saw this movie before last year, dog. We saw this movie. We saw this play out exceptionally well with San Francisco's offense. We watched them. We talking about Saints go marching in. We watched them march to the Super Bowl last year with this offense, with Brock Purdy. Listen, and Mike, I'll ask you this too. Tarek, I know y'all guys over there doing y'all 1-2 on production. Do you think Derek Carr is better than Brock Purdy right now? Mike says yes. And I respect that answer. For one, Derek has more years in the league, right? He's on his 11th season. We've seen 2 good years out of Brock Purdy. We saw Tarek ain't say nothing. I'm torn, right? I want to see. I did see Brock Purdy go to the playoffs the last 2 years. He was Super Bowl last year. Derek Carr has been in an interchangeable offense. Like, basically, we tried to run it back. Like, basically, Pete Carmichael running the Sean Payton offense, and it just really appeared to be outdated. This is refreshing. This is refreshing to see. And bringing it full circle back to how important OTAs is, even for the younger guys. Like, I've been hearing reports about some of the younger players coming in for their first few practices, balling out. That's what it takes. Even sliding on a couple of those practice squads. Who's to say if what you do in the spring don't pay you off in the fall, even if it's on another team? A lot of these coaches, a lot of these GMs, player personnel, they've been on other teams. They still communicate with other teams. And that's the beauty of preseason as well. It's not as lengthy as it used to be, But the beauty of preseason is you get an opportunity to get more film. So OTAs has a lot of value, more value than promoted. It does seem like we just out there, all the players and the coaches they're not doing much. It's a lot going on. You're getting veteran players in that playing shape. You're implementing a new offense. That's why if you look at locally here in New Orleans, we don't get to go out to every practice as the media, because they're fixing and they're fine-tuning what they have going on now with their offense. So there's a lot of beauty in OTAs. It's not as long as it used to be. Same thing with the preseason. But I can remember a guy like Victor Cruz being born in the preseason. Take it back a little bit here in New Orleans, Pierre Thomas. We saw a lot of Elvin Kamara in the preseason going into the regular season. So I am excited the direction the Saints is going, but I'm also curious to see, and at the same time, I'm optimistic about what this new offense is going to do with the current personnel, right? So, you think of players like Taysom Hill. You think of guys like Chris Olave. Look at Brandon Ayoka, how he was able to excel in that San Francisco's offense at the receiver. Deebo Samuel, Pro Bowlers like George Kittle. Like, I pay attention to that and look at how much potential this team has going into this 2024 season. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Like I said, we got a jam-packed show for y'all today. Just to kind of recap it, Dr. Kendra Andrews is going to sit down with me and talk a little sports enhancement, baby. That's right. How could you maximize your potential in sports this summer? It's going to be hot here in New Orleans, so I look forward to hearing from her and all of our other guests. Y'all stick around. It's Inside the Trenches right here on ESPN New Orleans, baby. Coastal Broadcasting for La Rose in Louisiana. That's KLRZ. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now, I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now. Well, hello, it's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Montero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Hello, somebody. It's Joel with Godwyn Realty, and you're now tuned in to Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
Well, welcome back. It's Inside the Trenches. I got Mike and Tarek in there with the groovy jams, baby. That's what I'm talking about right there. We smooth. And this segment is brought to you guys by Conquer Sports. Conquer Sports, 600 St. Joseph Street, right there in Harvey, Louisiana. We have softball training, O-line and D-line training, any sports consultation you need. Be sure to hit up Conquer Sports. The best way of getting in contact with us over there is going directly to our Instagram or Twitter at Conquer Sports Pros. Looking forward to hollering at you, baby. Well, it's Inside the Trenches, and y'all know how we do it around this time, man. It's the off season. It's excitement in basketball right now. The Olympics is this summer, but this is in true Inside the Trenches form. I'm happy today, right? Because I'm joined by Dr. Kendra Andrus. She's a sports nutritionist. She helps with health and wellness overall. Just an amazing job, y'all. Be sure to follow her at health.nut. That's NUTT1. Again, at health.nut1 on X, all your social media platforms. Dr. Kendra, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here today. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Before we got on air, me and Dr. Kendra was just talking about sports training in general, right? Just the basic stuff. I'm telling her some of the stuff we're going through with Conquer, training the athletes, getting ready for the off season. But it made me think back to when I was a teenager, and even now in my adult years, which is crazy. Like, I eat better now than I did when I was younger,
Yes.
but was in a better shape. But, that's age. It comes with age. But one of the things I talked to her about first was hydration for athletes. Now, we'll drink some water. We will definitely gulp down like Gatorade, Powerade. But from a nutrition standpoint, in terms of putting the right nutrients in your body, what are some hydration tips you have for us?
Well, definitely, like you said, Marlon, drinking the water, but also we want to get our blood oxygenated. So we want to make sure that we're eating those green leafy vegetables so that we can have the oxygen flowing through the blood. We also want to make sure that we're eating the appropriate fruit also, what have you. So lemons keep you hydrated, lemon water, watermelon, things like that, pineapples, getting your natural sugars instead of the fake sugars or the sugars that are not so good for your body.
Right. And look, Doc, we're out there sometimes 5:30 in the morning, which is cooler temperatures. The sun is not all the way out. Sometimes we'll find ourselves closer to noon when it's hotter like that. And let's say, for instance, I got up that morning. I didn't get a workout in, but I, just ate my breakfast. My breakfast was some of the fruits you're talking about, like watermelon, pineapple, to keep that hydration high, but to not feel super full. Because that's one, I hate to say it, Doc, but most of the time when I train in the morning, I skip breakfast. I do, but lately I've been adding the fruit in just a little bit. But what are some solid foods you can put on your body the way you don't feel so weighted, but your hydration is still up?
Yeah, so another thing too is you can do ginger. Have you ever heard of ginger root?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of athletes, you guys drink a lot of water, so you might get the bloating or the flatulence or the gas. So the ginger will help with your intestinal tract, keeping it warm, keeping it soothed, keeping you feeling the way you need to feel, where you won't feel so bloated from drinking the water. So ginger is a very, very good herb, or a good Ayurvedic herb to take when you're out there as well.
Okay, I'm at to up my ginger then when I get out there in that hot sun. And like you said, it kind of helps you. It almost gives you that full feeling.
Giving you that full feeling and filling up the gut where you won't feel as hungry as well.
All right, that's big time. Like, if y'all just tuning into us, we have Dr. Kendra Andrus here. You can follow her at on X at health.nut. That's NUTT1, the number one. Write it out. Follow. Great tips. We're just talking right now. It's our Conquer Sports segment, so it's the off-season training. Like, my kids, the players that I train, and my kids. I have, of course, 3 boys. little Titan. He just run around. He just need to go run track. He's 5. But Marlon's playing summer baseball. Kentrell's getting his summer off-season conditioning. So he's the main one. He's the one in college. So I hope he's listening right now as well, because this is really good tidbits for hydration. Now, this show is called Inside the Trenches for a reason. We the big men up front on the defensive line and offensive line, so I do dedicate this show to the guys that play the position I played and across the line from us. We big dudes. Yes. We like to utilize. One thing I do like about the summer doc, and I remember back to my summer training with Coach Moffitt back at LSU, I really enjoy burning the fat. Like I used to like when we used to run the 110s, like I get on the scale on purpose, see where I'm at, and then running 110s, I'm like, oh man, I just lost 7 pounds. A lot of that was water weight. Yeah. But in terms of burning fat the right way and building muscles the right way, what are some foods that we can get into?
Peppers are really good for burning fat, believe it or not.
Come on.
Cayenne pepper, black pepper, paprika, which is an alternative for individuals that cannot tolerate the cayenne pepper. Those burn a lot of fat. Yes, it's absolutely amazing to burn fat and get that gut where it needs to be. Yeah, pepper.
That makes sense, because sometimes I will go Taco Tuesdays, we'll go in and I would put a little pepper on my nachos. Now, it's not the best thing, the cheese and chips and all of that stuff, but that pepper, you start sweating a little bit. But to your point, that's probably why you're sweating, you're burning.
Exactly, Marlon. And it speeds up the metabolism, and that's what you want.
That's big time. All right, building muscle. Some guys that are on the line, and this talks to the mid skill positions. This talk to that's like your linebackers, your running backs, but this also talks to some of the skill positions, your wide receivers, your DBs. Those are the guys that really, those are the guys.
The big guys.
They're not super big. So like your defensive backs, they're like between 185 and 210, whereas you'll have your mid-skill guys, they're between like 30 to 245. And then once you're over like 245, really 260, then you're considered big skill. Like, I mean, I was 300s when I played.
Oh my God.
So it's a different deal. For us, it's building muscle but burning fat. So that's the peppers and, the paprikas like you're talking about. But for like the smaller guys, we'll go outside the trenches for a while. What are some foods they can have, or some vitamins or any type of nutrients they can have to build the muscle?
Well, I'll tell you this. I work with a lot of herbs, Marlon, and I would suggest or recommend rhodiola rosacea.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, my God. It builds stamina. It gives you that strength and that endurance. It revs you up to kind of go that extra mile. That's a great herb to have. The maca, also the saw palmetto, because you guys also need to make sure that your testosterone levels are where they need to be,
true.
Which is that male hormone. So, yeah, those like the saw palmetto, the rhodiola rosacea, the maca, which is a superfood. You're getting a lot of antioxidants and vitamins and nutrients. So that's a really good one as well. Yeah,
I know y'all driving, but I hope y'all taking notes, because this isn't just for athletes. I know this is a sports show and we focus on that, but this is just for your everyday people. Like, that's trying to, you have your novice trainees, should I say, that go out and they have trainers, or you have your novice person that just wants the Planet Fitness membership and they go out and get their workouts. Well, here's some of the food you can eat to while you're working out can build those muscles, because we have that down packed, Doc. We're able to, like, I have some players that train 2 times a week. I have some players that train 4 times a week.
Okay.
But what I notice, and I tell them even when they're not with me, still give yourself at least 30 minutes of conditioning. That's on that end. But the parts that you're hitting on right now is what we're missing. We're missing what are those little tidbits. Like, I didn't think about paprika as a fat burner like that.
Yes.
Now, another piece that we look at, in sports, a lot of injuries happen, whether they're minor injuries or major injuries. It's always that bounce back. Another piece we get right, we're good with the physical therapists. They're nursing us back to our health. When in terms of foods and vitamins, what are some suggestions to for pain?
So arginine is very good for circulation. Ginkgo bibliola.
Okay. I never heard of that.
It's also an herb for circulation, for injuries, for individuals that have had injuries or trauma or strokes of that nature. So it gets the circulation going back in the body. That's a very, very go-to herb that you can't really feel that you're taking, but it makes a world of difference in your body.
That's big time right there. That's something
Yeah.
cool to know because when, let's say for instance, for me, I had knee surgery on my left knee. I had tore my lateral meniscus. So I had the surgery. LSU did a great job at bouncing me back to better health, but that would have been a perfect opportunity because having that surgery, I just lost weight naturally because, you know, it's not necessarily about curbing my diet, but I couldn't really build the muscles like I wanted to because I wasn't working out like that. But to know that in these different food groups and the different things that we could take for even like ankle, like just when you go back to training itself, like you go through different injuries, like little small stuff, like you feel bruised up, but because we're just getting back into it. But that's some cool notes. Lastly here, Doc, and this is because we had a quarterback here, James. He had the LASIK surgery. James is in Cleveland now for vision. I mean, a lot of these games, these high school kids and even us on the pro level, we're playing at night. What's a good vitamin for vision?
So bilberry is another herb that you can take for your eyes. Vitamin A is also good for your eyes, of course. Getting that beta carotene in with those green leafy vegetables. All of those are good for your eyes, for your eye health.
That's big time right there. See, I'm rocking these glasses. I'm a little nearsighted, but on the field, I don't, even now when I'm just running around, I have to see, but I don't really want to have to deal with wearing my glasses. I don't want to be out there like Horace Grant with the goggles on because that's how I have to do it because my eyes just don't want to take the contacts. My wife teases me about that all the time. Well, she is Dr. Kendra Andrews. Y'all make sure y'all follow her at health.nut1. More information, she can go ahead and let you know all about it, baby. Y'all hit up in the DM, have a little tips and tidbits for y'all right here. Well, y'all don't go anywhere. We got more here. It's Inside the Trenches right here on ESPN New Orleans, baby. Hello, somebody. We'll be back.
Hello, somebody. My name is Dr. Kendra Andrews of Kendraland's Health Nut System, along with my husband, Dr. Dana Andrews. You're now tuned in to Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM.
Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Favorite. Watch out there now. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Well, hello, it's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Montero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello. He has the heart of a champion.
New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, we rolling this Inside the Trenches. I'm your host, Marlon Favorite. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And y'all can follow me on X at BigFave504. Be sure to check us out here on New Orleans Talk Network. This entire episode and all of our episodes, full episodes, are on the New Orleans Talk Network stream. Be sure to get with them on YouTube. You could go to the Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite YouTube as well. Get you some shorts on there. Check out some of the stuff. My music videos up there. Y'all can check it out with Chopper Style, Chopper Style, Cupid Shuffle, all of that good stuff up there on my YouTube page. And remember, y'all, I want to mention this now, and I'll mention it again in the next segment. We are going to a summer schedule, right? So the way that summer schedule work for our listeners, I love y'all so much. I want y'all to make sure y'all stick with us throughout the summer. On Mondays, we will do our live remotes, right? So 6 to 8 will be on air. Tuesday through Friday, we will be on ESPN's on-demand app. Make sure you download the ESPN app, or you can go to ESPN1003.com. Click the on-air tab, Inside the Trenches, pull up all our episodes. We'll have the exclusive interviews up. I'll have my LSU segments where me and Preston Guy from TigerBait.com, we're talking exclusive LSU. We'll have the Saints, well, it might be me and Mario or one of the Saints players. We'll do an exclusive there. Y'all can check out those. We'll still have the shorts and all of that stuff going. We will be back for Saints training camp 5 days a week right here on this station. But it's the summertime. My birthday coming up. Nah, my birthday is coming up, but we're just doing that to be sure to give you guys the best product. So this summer, we're going to have some fun with the show. I wanted to talk a little bit about, and this is probably going to change throughout the summer as well, as these teams shape up. OTAs will be over. We'll have a better look at all the teams. But I was just being an internet surfer, checking out some stuff, and I ran across another CBS article I thought was cool. And it's a question for you guys that they're asking, which category is your team in? Let me know. Y'all hit my Twitter up, as I mentioned. I keep on saying Twitter, formerly known as Twitter X, right? At BigFave504. So here's how they broke it down. This is according to Cody Benjamin, his thoughts on how these teams are broken down. Now, the evenly balanced teams, and don't judge it by their records, they're just talking about skill sets, is the Arizona Cardinals, Atlanta Falcons, the Dallas Cowboys, the Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders, the LA Chargers, the Minnesota Vikings, Seattle, the Bucks, and Washington. Now, all of those teams I mentioned either have a young quarterback or an elusive quarterback. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys name was in the MVP hat. Kyler Murray with a good receiving core. He has Marvin Harrison Jr., a young elusive receiver. Atlanta has Kirk Cousins, but I see why they say that Atlanta's evenly balanced. Not saying that they're evenly good. It's just a balance, position by position. You have your quarterback at Kirk Cousins. Bijan Robinson is probably, based off of last year, in the top 5 quarterbacks. They have an even, I'm going to say, ball-catching core. I won't even say receiving core because you have Kyle Pitts, but then you also add a guy like Money from Tulane's very own, but he was in Chicago. So their roster's kind of where it needs to be. And defensively, they don't look horrible. Now, Denver, I get it. I mean, Patrick Surtain is probably one of the better corners in our league, but you have Bo Nix. I'm assuming, and this is stuff, just reports I'm getting from camp for Denver. I mean, from OTAs with Denver, like, basically, Drew Lock isn't performing he's not having a better OTA than Bo Nix, right? And then, like I said, I mentioned some of the highlights on defense. Now, the Vikings is interesting, right? Because you have J.J. McCarthy, a rookie quarterback. He did just win a national championship with Miami, but you know what they had around him. They do have defense. So that's just to kind of talk about some of the evenly balanced teams, right? Now you start looking at teams that are defensively geared. The Panthers. You look at the Panthers' defensive line, right? You got Burns. You have big boy D. Brown. You got some size on that interior line, so I get that defensively. Cleveland. A team like Cleveland, I mean, Myles Garrett is arguably one of the better defensive ends in our league. At any given moment, he can bust out a 2-3 sack game and have a double-digit sack year. The Patriots, led by my linebackers, now the head coach, Gerard Mayo, you know he's going to have that team right defensively, right? Now, before I get to the Saints, they did mention New York. The Giants have a decent defense, and I like what the Steelers have in their defensive core. You know, you have Patrick Queen there now. You have Jackson from LSU. Now the Saints, we were talking about how their defense looked last year and the potential that it has this year. Tyrann Mathieu, any given season, can give you 3 to 4 interceptions a year. Right? Then you have a veteran leader in their secondary in him. You still have my main man, Demario Davis at the linebacker position. These last 2 years for the Saints, in my opinion, has been his best year. You know, from the perspective of being able to be productive all around. You are like second in sacks on the team from the linebacker position. You're disruptive. You're communicating. I mean, that's big when you look at it from that perspective. So the Saints, with the exception of Cleveland and potentially Pittsburgh this year, I think they might have one of the better defenses in that bunch that they mentioned. Now, here are the teams that are offensively geared. Watch. The Bills, Chicago, the Bengals, the Lions, Green Bay, right? Pay attention, stick with it. The Colts, Jacksonville, LA, the Rams, by the way, Miami, the Eagles, and the Titans. All of those teams they're saying offensively geared. Let's talk about those quarterbacks, right? Josh Allen with the Bills. The Bears have Caleb Williams. But I'm telling you, Mike, what they're doing with Caleb Williams, they just giving him Offensive Rookie of the Year. I can't wait to see this kid. We had some looks of him from OTAs, but I can't wait to some of these geared up defenses he go against, right? And it's not to say he's not going to do good, but they just putting a lot on him. The Bengals probably, we were talking about earlier in the show, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. With those two guys getting their deals figured out here at some point this summer, you got to know that offense is potent. Jared Goff, now we're getting into Detroit. Jared Goff led his team to the playoffs last year, did well. We have Amon St. Brown. You have Gibbs at the running back position. I mean, Detroit does have an elusive offense, and we saw that last year in the playoffs. Green Bay, Jordan Love. But I'm telling you, it does pay to have your guy behind an MVP in Aaron Rodgers, his first 2 years in the league. Now he has his own weapons around him, his own production. We just talked about earlier in the show, Michael Pittman signing a big contract. Man, down in Jacksonville, all of those weapons. You look at the receiving core in Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. I get it with the Rams. Right, Matthew Stafford is one of those quarterbacks in the system that they run. Whomever they have in the weapons category, they're going to be exceptionally well with. Miami, you know that wide receiving core, Waddle. You have Odell Beckham in that receiving core now. Tyreek Hill, A lot of explosiveness. Tua can have could do his thing. Aikman's the fastest running back in the league, right? So Devon Aikman. So they're right in that area. Jalen Hurts has his weapons. I mean, as long as AJ Brown and how CL says Slim Reaper, and Devontae Smith, as long as those guys are there, they're there as well. And I'm interested in seeing what Will Levis does with Tennessee and that whole Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard backfield. That's going to be an interesting watch. Lastly here, the teams with the total package. I'm going to mention the Jets first, right? They got other teams on here, but the Jets, and the Jets you trust, right? You have Garrett Wilson at the receiver position. Aaron Rodgers is back, right? Defensively, too much sauce. Sauce Gardner. I talk about how well a lockdown corner Patrick Surtain is. You talk about the Jets too. San Francisco, probably the team on here outside of Baltimore, is the for sure total package teams, right? If you look at how that offense ran for San Francisco last year, along with Baltimore. And the last two teams I'm going to mention, we're going to go down to H-Town. C.J. Stroud, boy, Carolina messed up on that, let him get to Houston. Defensively, they got some young, good lockdown talent, and I do see why Houston is a total package. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's still the best quarterback in the league. He just got Xavier Worthy. He's going to run pretty fast for him, and I think if you look at what Andy Reid's able to do with him, he's pretty good. You got Patrick Mahomes. He's still Magic Mahomes, baby. You can't take that away from him. So I do agree with all of those teams. I have a couple questions behind the Jets, but those other four teams for sure, total package. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. Don't go nowhere. We got one more segment. I'm going to get y'all home smooth, baby. Have ourselves a good time on ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM. Hello. Are you looking for your dream home? Well, if that's the case, you need to contact Joe Picolo at Godwyn Realty, right here in New Orleans. Joe can put you in your dream home right away. Joe Picolo and the folks over at Godwyn Realty put you in the house that you need. Even if you're looking to invest in some property, they'll do an excellent job with that as well. Contact Joe today at 504-251-8341. Again, that phone number is 504-251-8341. And also contact Joel at joel.godwynrealty.com. No need to dream anymore. Godwyn Realty will put you in the dream house of your reality. Hello, somebody.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now, I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Favorite. Watch out there now.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah. right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello, somebody. It's Joel with Godwyn Realty, and you're now tuned in to Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon Favorite. And as promised, on the Small Sliders hotline, we have Mario Jerez, baby, ESPN New Orleans. He has the pod, Pels Kitchen. Y'all make sure y'all follow my brother Mario at Mario_E_Jerez on X. Mario, man, we got to get these Saints OTA observations out of you, man. But the first observation that seemed like got out of you, man, it's pretty hot out there, huh?
Yes, it is hot. I was just telling you before the show, man. I can't imagine being in pads, hitting right now in this heat because I am dying just from standing out there for the last hour. So, yes, sunny day, beautiful day, but definitely feeling the heat.
And yeah, even this evening, man, it's still hot here. It's just, boy, I appreciate those days because of, like, you know, you're sweating off 7-8 pounds of like toxins and liquids out of your body. So the post weigh-in after practice always was light. So that was cool. But, you know, for those guys and even us reporters headed out there, you know, we had to make sure we hydrated.
Yeah, you got to, man. It reminds me of going to the D-line camp at Thibodeau back in the day. Ate like a bunch of pizza and cheeseburgers and other high-caloric foods and still lost like 10 pounds. That's what these guys are going through.
That's exactly what's going on. So, Mario, let's dive right into it. Saints OTAs. The fans are excited for the season. Some new faces out there. But in terms of attendance, right, earlier today, any new faces out there? I know they had a lot of guys missing the first week of OTAs, but anybody showed up at practice that wasn't there last week?
I believe Jamal Williams may not have been here last week. That's the only name that's coming from the top of mind. Other than that, it looked a lot like it did last week. You know, the veteran guys that are always here, still there. Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan, and I kind of like their behavior at practice too. The older guys seem to really be upbeat and bring the energy. But other than that, it looked a lot like it did last week. Still no Alvin Kamara. Still no Marshawn Lattimore. Would love to see Kool-Aid McKinstry out here, but he's not ready to go yet as well. So attendance-wise, still looks a lot like it did last week. But guys are in good spirits. Like the rookies, other guys that are kind of learning new roles seem to be a little bit more comfortable or playing a little bit more loose during practice. But attendance-wise, it looks very similar as it did last week.
Okay, when you look at the players, right, we have some new faces via draft. I'll start on the offensive line. This is Inside the Trenches. How Fuaga look out there today?
O-linemen look good, all of them. Fuaga's a big boy, man. You definitely can see the first-round intangibles, or the measurables, I should say, when it comes to the Saints' first-round pick. But he's moving well. Trevor Penning's still running with the ones. A lot of questions about Trevor Penning, maybe the most important player for the Saints on either side of the football this season. So you know there will be attention on him. And Isaiah Foskey, actually, from what I saw, had a good day today. Towards the end when they were doing the team drill, 7-on-7, whatever it was, he got a sack against Spencer Rattler, or it would have been a sack at least. You know, no contact in these practices. But offensive linemen, at least out there and healthy. We talked about kind of the shuffling they're doing last week with Penning and Fuaga being out there. But amongst the defensive linemen, I would say Isaiah Foskey had a good day, and hopefully it's something that replicates in the games this season.
Yeah, last year when we look at Foskey coming on his team, he had like a sack record coming from Notre Dame. We wanted to add some more pass rushers on our roster, but he was a little slow to catch on to the speed of the NFL. We didn't really start seeing him get snaps till towards the end of the season. Even though he did record a half a sack last year, that's still production and that still builds his confidence. I'm going to stay along that defensive line. I am excited for year 2 of Brian Bruzy. I mean, last year, 4.5 sacks for interior lineman, a former interior lineman. Those numbers are really decent. your thoughts on the interior line, starting with Brian Bruzy.
Yeah, I think it's okay for Saints fans to be excited for year two of Bruzy. Somebody who really stands out immediately. Posted on Sports Hangover. We're talking before practice today and said, a lot of people say you can't learn too much from these practices, but you can quite literally see how the team looks, right? Like what guys are in good shape, what guys are maybe not in good shape, packages introduced that maybe weren't there last year, personnel grouping, things like that. And just looking at Brian Bruzy, he really stands out. You see the size that got him the production that he got last year, and now coming into year two, I think his fundamentals will be a lot better. I think you'll see the Saints be a little bit more creative with Brian Bruzy. And we're not seeing too much of that during OTAs, but interior stunts, moving him around a little bit, showing off a little bit more of his athleticism now that he has the technique down a little bit coming into year two. I'm really excited for Brian Bruzy. We were just talking about Foskey. Hopefully he makes any kind of impact after making very little as a rookie. But Brian Bruzy is somebody who had a good rookie season, who can have a really big jump in production in year number two. I'm excited to see how the Saints utilize him, hopefully a little bit better here in his second year in the NFL.
I thought it was very interesting how they had the rotation last year on the front line defensively. You had Carl Granderson had probably the most productive year of his career here in the NFL. You started your veterans, so you went with Saunders, you went with Shepard, and you had Brian Bruzy rotate in on that defensive line. So I thought that was key. And then last year, from a technical standpoint, it wasn't the best year for Cam Jordan in terms of sacks, but he impacted the game so many different ways. He impacted it from the perspective of being able to make the ball bounce the other way, holding his point on the run game, so on and so forth. So I thought he did a good job. If y'all are just tuning in, it's Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Favorite joining me on the Small Sliders Hotline. I have Mario Jerez. Y'all make sure y'all follow Mario on X at Mario_E_Jerez. I just technically earlier today, Mario had put out some content of the Saints practicing and look hot through the pictures on my X, so I reposted that. So if you want to not get sunburn like some of the other folks out there attending, you can always check out Mario's Twitter, and he will get you on point. Mario, I want to stay along the defensive line. Christian Boyd, we drafted him in the 6th round this year. He has the size you look for in an interior lineman. He comes from a smaller school. How is he adjusting to the speed of the NFL based off the practices you saw?
Oh, man. He looks pretty good out there, at least so far. Like I said, I think once we get closer to, mandatory mini camp, training camp, we see a little bit more diversity with the defensive coaches and what they're calling. You'll learn a little bit more. But so far, he's looking pretty good, looking like he belongs. And we were just talking about Foskey. There will be more reps for a lot of these young guys, I think, with some of the people that the Saints let go. Zach Bond came on a little bit towards the end last year. He's not with the Saints anymore, signing with Philadelphia. So I think specifically when it comes to pass rushing, those third down packages, there will be some opportunity, maybe even for a guy like Boyd. So I'm excited to see hopefully he step up and earn some reps along this defensive line. I think you can count on a much more productive season from Cam Jordan this year. I think the injury misfortune was just a little bit too extreme last year. That being said, he is getting towards the end, and some of these young guys are going to eventually have some opportunities. So hopefully that starts this season with guys like Boyd at the defensive end position.
I do care about that rotation, just being on some really good defensive lines throughout my career. That's one thing that was helpful even for your superstar players and mainly for the coaches when you can have 8 to 12 guys you can rotate in on a defensive front. And the skill set don't drop down. I think when you look at it from that perspective, that's something that's super important. In addition to not only the aspect of production up front, you want to make sure that you, how could I say this? You pair the right groups together based off of how the game is going. So you may start off with your starters, right? Let's say, for instance, this year, Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Saunders, and Shepard, right? But it may be some parts of the game where it's probably good to have, might be heavy run in the middle, so you might want to bring in like a Brian Bruzy and a Khalid Saunders just because those guys are beefy. Hey, well, it's Inside the Trenches. We have Mario Jerez on the line. We're going to wrap this hour, but Mario going to stick around with us. And this time, we're going to talk a little bit about the coaching staff, how they're adjusting. Some of them have to adjust to the heat. It's a little hotter down here in New Orleans, Coach. And we're going to spend a little time on some of the superstars on offense. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be back with another hour of Inside the Trenches right here on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody. Watch out there now.
It's your girl Spice Divas, the marketing diva, and you're tuned into Inside the Trenches with my boy Marlon Favorite on ESPN 100.3 FM New Orleans. Hello, somebody.
Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student-athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now, I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now. Well, hello, it's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Montero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Hello, somebody. It's Joel with Godwyn Realty, and you're now tuned in to Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
Welcome back, beautiful people, to hour 2 of Inside the Trenches. I'm your host, Marlon Big Favorite, and my main man, Mario Jerez, decided to stick around for another hour. So we're going to start this hour off talking about Saints OTAs. This show is brought to you guys by Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Y'all come check us out live at Small Sliders weekly. We're there on Fridays. We do pop-ups throughout the week. Stay tuned to @BigFave504 for that, but we'll be out there every Friday for sure, 11:30 to 1 p.m. So Mario, man, earlier today, it was steaming hot out there at the Saints OTAs. A lot of y'all out there, a lot of us out there in the media just kind of felt for the players because it was a little hot, but, you know, we understand that at least our players getting in some good shape with the heat. Mario, in hour one, as we wrapped hour one, you and I talked about the defense a lot. We looked at some of the faces that were out there that there this week that wasn't there, like Jamal Williams. I want to go on the offensive side of the ball with you, and I want to get your observations of the wide receivers. We have a new group of star receivers in A.T. Perry. He's a rising star. Looks like he's in a heavy rotation with the starters. Chris Olave and also Rashid Shaheed. When you talk about those guys, Mario, how they look out there at OTAs to you?
Oh, I like how the wide receiver room is shaking up, man. Even with when you talk about building depth, don't want to take too much away from the oohs and ahs of training camp. Some guys will shine and then not make the team, but guys like Cedric Wilson Jr. make some good plays with Derek Carr. Bub Means, the rookie, has really stood out in the first few days, and then the first three deep. I think the Saints are in pretty good shape. A.T. Perry, he did get accosted a little bit for fooling around during a drill by Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator. He's way more vocal than Pete Carmichael was, but we could talk about that in a bit. I think AT, with the year in the NFL, getting some more reps, can be really productive for the Saints this season. This is a really speedy, really big wide receiver that put up great stats at Wake Forest and was really good in the preseason last year for this team. So I expect him to be productive this year. Rashid Shaheed, honestly, exceeded my expectations last season. I thought he'd be a little bit more of a gadget guy, somebody you get out in motion, but he's proven to be a really good route runner. And with some more rapport with Derek Carr, I think his second season as a starter could be a really productive one. And Chris Olave, I think almost a little underrated by Saints fans coming into his third season, Big Fave. I mean, this could be kind of simple, but this is the first time he's had the same quarterback, same NFL quarterback, back-to-back season openers, right? There was a little instability with Jameis Winston, Derek Carr. Now you have year two with Derek Carr, and everybody knows you're the guy. Like, the drama with Michael Thomas is over. He's not eating up targets anymore. Chris Olave will be featured in this offense, I think. And I think he'll be successful. If you look at what he's done already 2 seasons in, I think with the rotating door quarterbacks, with the inconsistency on offense for the Saints, the numbers he's put up have been really impressive, and I don't see any reason for that not to continue in year number 3. The Saints definitely have some holes, but at wide receiver, I think they're in pretty good shape here on May 27th.
Well, or should I say May 28th. Shouts out to May 27th, though. That was me and my wife's anniversary. But, yeah, Mario, you make a good point. We are in May, right? At the end of May, OTAs are going to go through June. So if we're just judging from that time frame right now, in the moments we are right now for our listeners, coaches are looking at what type of shape guys are in. Like, what were you doing when you weren't with OTAs? Even with the young rookies, all right, you went through college. Let's see how you are here with the way we're speed and high tempo and able to go along. When you look at the next set of receivers, you have Cedric Wilson Jr., in my opinion, out of the guys you just mentioned, he falls into that group in terms of experience. And they put up some production out in Miami and, of course, at Dallas. He was in that rotation. You have Bub Means, college guy that I think is going to make some noise. And then, of course, St. Brown. When you look at that next wave of receivers that rotate in out of that group, what are those guys looking like at OTAs?
Yeah, you mentioned St. Brown. That's an interesting name. We all know about his brother, the Sun God in Detroit, one of the better wide receivers in the league. And this is a player who, I'm sure you remember him at college, was very productive for Notre Dame. Actually had a few big plays against LSU in the Music City Bowl, but for whatever reason has not been as productive as his brother in the NFL. That's an interesting name for me, somebody who has size. And we already talked about Bob Means. Every year there seems to be like a different young receiver that stands out. I think of Emmanuel Butler Jr. in the past. I think of Adrian Arrington. And like you said, we're in May 28th. Don't want to take too much. But if there's somebody from that crop of receivers that has stood out during these practices, it would definitely be Bob Means. And these practices are always really productive because Sean Payton used to tell a story a lot about Marcus Colson's first day of practice. He literally had trouble staying on his feet. Like, couldn't keep off the ground, learning to run these routes, learning the technique. But then day 2, day 3, once he got that stuff down, he was really shining on this level. So we've seen it before over there on Airline Drive, and the leading candidate for that right now would probably be Bub Means. So, like I said early, but like how the Saints are stacking up at wideout.
No, it's all good, Mario. You have a core group of wide receivers that have the capability. We know Chris Olave has the opportunity to be one of the top receivers in this league. Like, I can see Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. It depends on what Tyreek Hill you get. You know, you start going down a list of wide receivers. I think Chris Olave, with productive play at the quarterback position, which we'll get to that here next, will really put him in that category with those guys. We know what Joe Burrow's doing. You know, we can imagine what Stephon Diggs and C.J. Stroud is about to look like, Mario, when you start to think about other teams in their core groups. Quarterbacks. The quarterbacks, I mean, Spencer Rattler, I've been seeing a lot of his highlights. He's throwing those spirals. Looks very fit in that position. Derek Carr is being a good mentor to him as he's gearing up. I heard Coach Kubiak speak highly about Derek Carr and how he's really fitting into this offense. But when you look at that quarterback room right now, Mario, at OTAs, what's running through your mind?
So there's a clear pecking order. I think, Derek Carr, very polarizing in his first season, right? It feels like all the fans hate him. It feels like all the media are trying to be objective and coming to his defense. But I'll say that he looks more comfortable out there. And again, he's throwing on air, but he's interacting with guys when he's not in the drill. He's celebrating big plays. He's not coaching as many guys up, I think. I think that maybe rubs some players the wrong way, where he would celebrate the good plays and not the bad plays. But Derek Carr, at the end of the day, looks a lot more comfortable. And he was by far the most crisp guy out there today. The timing, hitting guys in stride, that existed for Carr way more consistently today than it did for Painter or Spencer Rattler. Jake Haener, I think similar to Derek Carr, looks a lot more comfortable here in year two. Spencer Rattler, at least based on what I saw today, struggled a little bit, Big Fave. It was kind of like a PBU fest where it looked like he was making the right read, but he was just a hair too late. And it would result in throwing the ball at a guy's feet or getting the ball intercepted or getting the ball tipped. Spencer Rattler, you could see he has the talent, but definitely still getting the timing down. And then I think there's a clear gulf between him and Jake Haener, who I would say is the second string as of right now, and then Derek Carr, who is your starter. And like I said, Kubiak being out there, you can definitely tell the difference between he and Pete Carmichael, especially when it comes to the quarterbacks. There seems to be a lot more instruction going on, even right now when you're not doing full team drills. So Carr's looking comfortable. There seems to be a clear pecking order, which I'm sure gives him a little bit of peace of mind. And besides all the bad plays from Spencer Rattler today, there's not too much to nitpick on when it comes to the New Orleans Saints quarterback room.
If you just tuning in to Inside the Trenches, you're listening to Mario Jerez. Mario comes on as a weekly guest. He covers all Louisiana sports for the most part. We talk LSU on here, Pels, Tulane if we got her. Right now we're talking Saints OTAs. Lastly here, Mario, as we wrap this segment, the coaches. You know, a lot of times we're overemphasizing the players and what they're able to do and how they're adjusting. There are three new coaches on this offensive side of the ball. Actually four. I'll mention three: Clint Kubiak, Andrew Janiku, and also Keith Williams. How are the players receiving these guys, man, as OTAs is coming along here and these guys are adjusting to a new room as well?
It looks like they're receiving him pretty well. Whenever DA has been asked about Kubiak and I guess all the new offensive coaches you mentioned, he's talked a lot about accountability, like holding guys accountable in ways that I guess they were not held accountable last season. And then little things that you can already see are different from last year, things like motion that sound basic, but the Saints didn't do a lot of that last year. I'm sure that'll come into play when you talk about play action too later on in these practices. And then Taysom Hill, he's being utilized a lot differently. Big Fave. It's kind of weird to see him not taking any reps with the quarterbacks. And that's not to say he won't play under center at all this year. There seems to kind of be conflicting opinions about Taysom and how much quarterback he'll play, but he will be utilized out of the backfield a lot different, lining up at fullback, motioning out, being utilized maybe like Kyle Juszczyk is utilized in San Francisco. And I think it's funny, like for years, so many people have been trying to make other players into Taysom Hill. Now you're trying to make Taysom Hill into the mold of another player. But obviously, Kubiak being there has the experience, would hopefully be able to make that happen. And it's a tough job with Taysom because you do want to get him his touches, but you also want to limit the contact and not like spam it, not overdo it, right? I think the key for Kubiak with Taysom is to be a little bit more creative, is to utilize him a little bit better. And I like kind of the new packages we're seeing Taysom Hill in, Big Fave. He might be the player that benefits the most out of Kubiak being in New Orleans.
I like that just check comparison, utilizing him like that. And I saw a couple of clips with Taysom Hill coming out of the backfield. This is going to be a fun offense to watch. Coach Clint Kubiak, brother, just have fun with us, man. You got some gadgets in place down here. Coach Allen could definitely use it well. Mario, thank you so much for joining us today, brother. Got to get you back, man. We got more stuff to talk about. Hey, it's Inside the Trenches. Y'all don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. ESPN New Orleans, 100.3, baby. Move your body. Hello. Well, hello, it's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Are you tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Marrero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Marrero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello. Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Favorite. Watch out there now.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app, weekdays, 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
Well, hello, somebody. It's Inside the Trenches. I'm your host, Marlon Favorite, and we on the road, y'all. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Y'all can check us out right here on ESPN New Orleans weekly, on demand, you name it. Y'all check out all the information we will have attached to this show. Because, you know, we're streaming right now on New Orleans Talk Network as well. And we'll be sure to get y'all our information out. Well, OTAs is on the roll. It's something, as a former player in the NFL, this is where I spend most of my time, had an opportunity to put together film to keep me jobs over my 4-year span. Well, Inside the Trenches, very own host Chris Lombard had an opportunity to make it out. It was very hot, a very hot, scorching OTA practice a while back, and had an opportunity to talk to the Army Swiss Knife himself, the big-time hybrid player, and Taysom Hill. Let's check out that interview.
Yeah. I just have one question. What you know about the new offense so far? What's the ideal position for you in this new offense? Yes.
I don't know that I have a great answer for you. You know, I think I think where I have been playing the most is like that F tight end or F fullback, right? And I think those lines become a little gray, right? Whether F fullback or F tight end, in terms of like routes that I'm running and different things that you're blocking in the run game. But I would say the F.
Thank you.
Well, that was Chris Lombard, Inside the Trenches, talking with Taysom Hill on his role in the new offense. And to be quite honest with you, CL, he didn't really seem too excited about the way his role is forming.
Well, you know the crazy part about it is, you know, he gave interviews to the mass media, and then he kind of waited till a little bit later, and he's like, kind of hunched me over and give me some one-on-one. If you could see the difference in the videos, usually there's a crowd of people around him, and it was just me and him. And honestly, we both were excited. You know, I think he's trying to kind of dial it back a little bit because obviously it was a hot day. You know, this interview probably happened 2 hours after practice, right? So cooling down, you know, just the energy cools down. But, you know, seeing him out on the field and seeing the different things that he was doing, I do believe that he was excited for his new role in this offense.
Right, and then you're right, it was pretty hot out there, and we had 105 heat index, so that probably did play a major role in, you know, his mood at the time. But I actually like it because when I envisioned when Clint Kubiak first got the position, and first thing I thought of with Taysom Hill was just check, or utilizing them a little bit like George Kittle. So you look at the success those guys had in San Francisco offense. You look at how successful Taysom Hill has been here with everything on special teams, at quarterback, at running back, tight end, wide receiver. It's just a perfect fit for Clint Kubiak.
Yeah, and I'll do you even one more, and I'll say a Deebo Samuels. I remember us having that conversation, and it was like, man, such a Swiss Army knife. I mean, of course, everybody knows about Jerez 44 for the 49ers, and of course, everybody knows about Deebo. But to have a combination of the two in our own backfield in number 7 has, I believe everybody excited and with waiting breath.
When you think about the way San Francisco ran their offense last year, the type of offensive lineman they had up front, the way they used the fullback position, having one thing CL loves to say on this show, y'all, is we're in the Brock Purdy era. When you have a quarterback that's more of your pro-style quarterback, I think about Taysom's role and everybody else's, the success Christian McCaffrey had at running back because of the way this offense is formatted. The type this, and just to kind of give our listeners a visual, they run a lot of, in their run game concepts, it's wide zone, power counter, inside zone, these type of offenses in CL to the success of those type of formations, it opens up a lot in the passing game.
Oh, it definitely does. And, you know, not to get off of Taysom, you know, Mario even said it in an interview later on that evening. Like I said, it was a long day. Yeah. Mario even gave an interview and letting everybody know that, you know, we're familiar seeing this offense, But, playing against it every day, there's so many different nuances to it, and it looks the same, but it's totally different. Seeing someone like a Taysom Hill coming out the backfield as a running back, a fullback, a tight end, lining up out wide, it just makes everybody a lot more honest when we have somebody like a Taysom Hill in the game, and they have to recognize what 7 is at all times.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Inside the Trenches with your host, Marlon Favorite Wright. We had the GM that know the most, baby, CL Nola, make his way out to OTA practices. Just, CL, it's summertime. I know you're not a super fan of the heat. We'll be in the studio recording, and we got to cut the fans down sometimes, CL. Got to step out a couple times with that church white towel, you know what I'm saying? Knock that sweat off before in our studio. But I want to look at a guy like Brandon Ayuk from San Francisco. In 2 years, he had 1,015 yards in 2022. He had 1,342 in 2023. I start thinking about Shaheed and Chris Olave. Like, they ran this type of offense, this zone type, this all of those pre-snap motions prior to the snap. When you are thinking of a Taysom Hill and the multiple ways we already used him, and now he has a little more of a defined role, he said at the F back. Do you think we'll see more success from Taysom Hill in this type of scheme versus the success we've seen already?
I think we will, because once again, what does that do to have such a switch Army knife on the field? You can't necessarily key on Alvin if Taysom's in the backfield. I saw a sweep play where they threw it to Miller on a sweep, and who was the leading fullback? It was Taysom. They can play so many different things off of that. Maybe one day Alvin actually, they throw the sweep and Alvin actually throws the ball and then a halfback pass to Taysom, right? So there's just so much that they can do out of that base formation. And I think we're all going to learn to love the word zone blocking scheme, or phrase, if you will, zone blocking scheme, because I'm seeing everybody take the right correct step at the same time. And I think it gives a great look to the defense in a sense of you don't necessarily know what's coming. You recognize the formation, but you don't necessarily know what's coming.
CL, you make an excellent point. How uniform and defined these zone offenses. And listen, we watched San Francisco march to the Super Bowl last year, just being uniform, just persistence. It was tough. It was a lot of toughness. Christian McCaffrey, he runs hard. But it's, as a former defensive tackle in this league, when teams run that true zone, it's tough to make plays. We were very successful at LSU, and even early on playing with the Panthers in that 4-3 defense. I remember those opportunities to make plays in the backfield because I'm getting more of a traditional downhill block, like a down block or a combination block or your traditional double team. With this wide zone offense, they're not looking to block the guy right over them. They're trying to block a gap or two over, which leaves cutback lanes for your Alvin Kamara and for your Taysom Hill too. Like think about that. They're doing all those pre-snap motion reads, and then you go ahead and have Taysom Hill. You hand him off the rock or pretend to hand him off a rock. They gotta respect him, ICL.
They have to respect everything, and that's what I'm falling in love with already. And I get it. Second week of install, the media only gets to see the team on Tuesday. But what they showed was that you don't have to worry about pinning, because it's not about him beating the best right end or the best left end that shows up in front of him. It's about him getting to a certain spot at a certain time. And I believe he can do that. I believe everybody on the offensive line knows where to be at and how to take the right step to get in the right position to win.
When you look across the offensive line, you have Cesar Ruiz coming back. You have Alu Udu on the offensive line as well. you mentioned Trevor Penning and also Fuaga, and of course leading the whole with all of this. One of the best centers in our league, and Eric McCoy. Now that you look at that offense, CL, with 30 seconds here in this segment, when you look at that offensive line, bro, these guys are built for this type of offense. This wide zone, these quick steps, they're like around 315, 320 or less, right?
Right. And like you say, 30 seconds or less, let's not forget that Kubiak decided to come to New Orleans. He said it out his own mouth. He wanted to work with Derek Carr. He believed we had the weapons to run what he wants to run. And so with that being said, I think it's an obvious situation where San Francisco led the league in rushing last year. We draft a offensive lineman, a tackle at the top of the draft. We're going to use our first round pick in his second year on that offensive line to start at right tackle. I believe we're moving in the direction of running the football this year.
Well, I want to hear more from CL and about the Saints' OTAs just to get his observation. So we're going to get him to stick around for one more segment. It's Inside the Trenches, baby, right here on ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM, baby, Coastal Broadcasting of La Rose, KLRZ. Hello. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student-athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Are you looking for your dream home? Well, if that's the case, you need to contact Joe Picolo at Godwyn Realty, right here in New Orleans. Joe can put you in your dream home right away. Joe Picolo and the folks over at Godwyn Realty put you in the house that you need. Even if you're looking to invest in some property, they'll do an excellent job with that as well. Contact Joe today at 504-251-8341. Again, that phone number is 504-251-8341. And also contact Joel at joel.godwynrealty.com. No need to dream anymore. Godwyn Realty will put you in the dream house of your reality. Hello, somebody.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app, weekdays, 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches Podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches Podcast with Marlon Favorite. Watch out there now. Welcome back, beautiful people. It's the host of Inside the Trenches, Marlon Favorite, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You gotta love it, baby. You can check us out here. You dig, 6 to 8. On the summer, like I told you, our summer schedule, we'll be live on Mondays, but you can for sure check us out on demand on ESPN1003.com for the latest interviews. I mean, Essence Festival coming up this summer. I'm pretty sure me and CL gonna talk to all kind of people in the streets of New Orleans, and we're gonna ask them about the Who That Nation for sure. So I definitely want y'all to tune into us on demand. And remember, we're streaming on New Orleans Talk Network for all of the full videos, and then you can catch the shorts on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on YouTube as well. Kicking it back with us once again, we got ESPN's New Orleans Inside the Trenches' very own Chris Lombard, also known to the world as the GM CL Nola. I wanted to have him stick around. We spent a little bit of this segment, if y'all are just tuning in, before talking about Taysom Hill, his new role in the offense. We was talking about the comparison of the San Fran offense last year and how things all went down there. But I wanted to take this segment to focus on the overall view, right? It's always some little things we miss. And I know right now in this time with organized team activity, folks are looking at the quarterbacks. People are looking at the receivers. But we won't go inside them trenches, baby, and then around. So, CL, you were out there on the other day, and you saw, some new faces. Things were flowing a lot differently. But, man, what was it like overall out there for you? Like, what the overall feeling was, the atmosphere, and, all the surroundings?
Well, overall, it was hot. I can tell you that. Usually I kind of lay back and put pads on and get out there and put my eyes on it. But I don't know, something in me just told me, go to OTAs. And, of course, they're voluntary. So everybody that's there wanted to be there, including myself. And for me, I had a full circle moment. Obviously, the great guys in radio and media were there to do the coverage and, getting the chance to run across a friend of the families with the great Ro Brown and getting a chance to speak to him and remembering when I was 18 years old, senior year at Old Perry Walker, thinking that I wanted to be in media, kind of already knowing that I wanted to be in media and wanted to speak about the game and just give my opinion. And, I didn't have this voice that I have now. I wasn't the assistant GM of the New Orleans Saints back then. I was just Chris Lombard, a guy that loved New Orleans and loved sports. And he told me that I could do whatever I wanted to do. He told me that I could be a part of the media if I wanted to. He told me that I could do exactly what he does if I wanted to. And I believe in that moment on Paris Avenue in the 7th Ward, I believed him. And, years later, linking up with Fave and telling Fave, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And here we are on ESPN now. So it was a full circle moment for me. Yeah, it was hot out there, but to sit next to a Ro Brown, a Dick Vita, and to have Bobby come up and say, oh, that is you, putting the neck, he said, I'm going to try to do my Bobby voice. Yeah, I guess that is you. I'm finally getting a chance to put the face with the voice. And, and knowing that, I mean, it's no secret that I listen to these guys, me and Fave, yeah, we have a show on from 6 to 8, but, this is the same time that Bobby and Deke is on. So, to be able to say, well, you know what, I listen to y'all. So it's an honor for me to be here. And that was, that was big for me. And I was so glad that I went that day.
Well, that's huge, CL. And that's just a testimony for those out there who want to accomplish something, whatever it is. You keep working at it and it comes full circle. So I do appreciate you sharing that story with us. And I do hope that it motivated somebody listening to it because you're here now, brother. You're doing what you love, and I appreciate you for being a part of this show. So that's for sure, big time. And taking the all love, and taking the heat, literally and figuratively, going out there, allowing me to be in the studio, and you go out there and get some. But I'll be back out there with you.
Everybody knows I'm a studio guy.
So that means you love this, man. You sacrificing it like the rest of our colleagues out there, enjoying the summer heat, watching our New Orleans Saints. I want to stick to the offensive side of the ball before we go defensive. The tight end position is now going to be used slightly different in this offense. based off what Taysom told you, I don't think we're going to see him a lot in that role. Now, I mean, a multi-look offense isn't bad, so he may split out to that tight end, but it seems like they want him at more of that fullback role. Now you look at guys like Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau. You also have other tight ends on the roster fighting for roster spots like Tommy Hudson, and one of the big-time names everybody's been talking about has been Dallin Holker. Your thoughts on the tight end room right now currently after watching them at practice?
Well, the tight end room, once again, is full again, with multi-talented, multifaceted tight ends, combination guys. We know Juwan is a down-the-field kind of speed guy. Prepping from Jesuit, coming out of New Orleans. We know he's the double kind of tight end. He could be an inline blocker as well as get out there and catch that ball. But seems like number 85, Daniel, that Dylan Holker, he seems to be a combination of the two. So we seem to have a full room at tight end, and they're doing different things than last year's offense. And not to really give away much of our offense, because obviously I'm a GM. I'm a Saint before I'm anything else. But we're definitely using the tight ends differently, more short intermediate routes and being able to make plays after the catch.
Yeah, Dallin Holker, for our listeners, he's someone who shined at the combine. He had the two catches. There was like a little mix-up of the drill, and it looked really cool. It showed his balance and his ability to catch with one hand. But I look at his age. He's young. He's a college free agent coming in this class. Do you see him being a kid that fights through training camp and makes at least the practice squad for the Saints?
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind that this young man will make the team. Not 100% sure the 53-man roster, not knowing that we're going to keep an extra linebacker, extra DB, extra offensive line, since we've been trying to fortify that offensive line for a minute. I'm sure that he will make this team, no matter if it's practice squad or 53-man roster, because the talent, and if I didn't forget to mention, the size is there. The talent and the size is there. I just think more time in the offense. And let's remember, guys, that this offense is brand new to everybody. Now, there's guys that's been in the West Coast offense before. There's guys that's been in the zone blocking scheme before. But for everyone, this is a new offense. So, let's take our time and see what it do. But just on that first day, just seeing him get the ball and seeing what positions they're putting him at, I definitely see him on the team at number 85 for the New Orleans Saints.
Man, see, I like to go on the defensive side of the ball. And listen, if y'all are just tuning in, it's Inside the Trench you're listening to. I'm Marlon Favorite. Joining me right now is Inside the Trench's very own co-host, Chris Lombard. Y'all be sure to follow Chris on Instagram or Twitter at CL_NOLA. All right, let's go on the defensive side of the ball. We know the names: Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson had a good year. Demario Davis is given the Pro Bowl title he's been deserving for years in this league. But I like to talk about the guys that got to get it out the mud, people that were more favorable for this time frame, people that are typically more favorable. So as we wrap this segment, I want to give our shine on to Millard Bradford from TCU, and then also Isaiah Stillbird. I heard those young dudes were out there balling out, undrafted free agent from South Dakota State, Isaiah Stillbird, out there at the will linebacker. I heard that they were just so noticeable as young players, man. Talk to me about those youngsters out there balling.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Bradford had 2 interceptions at practice, knowing that last year throughout the season, I think Adebo led the team with 4 interceptions the entire year. So, we're just not sitting back wishing that the old vets and the familiar guys that show up. We have some new young guys really showing up. And not to jump back on the other side of the ball, but I would be remiss not to mention Jordan Mims. He's really flashed coming out the backfield with the running backs catching out the backfield. But back to the defense, we do have some young guys that are showing, got a chance to run it to, which is starting to be a returning thing. Ran into Brian Brzee coming off the field, and he remembers me from last year, meeting him and his family, his lovely parents, and just him seeming just much more familiar. There's a picture out there on Instagram, his first training camp. He's sweated out. I'm sweating it out. And I'm telling him about how to deal with the heat. So just seeing our second year guys being more ready, more applicated to what we're doing, because after this, their second year. And might I say, even an Isaiah Foskey showed up yesterday in number 55, outside linebacker, which was kind of ironic because I had a conversation with Blvd, and we were talking about how maybe we use Foskey in that elephant position like they used Charles Haley.
That's right.
We interviewed Charles Haley last week. So, we have ideas for these younger guys, and it's not too early or it's not too late to give up on them because
they got opportunity. That's indeed. Well, he's CL Nola. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back. It's ESPN New Orleans right here inside the trenches. Peace.
Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Favorite. Watch out there now. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right. When you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Well, hello, it's Marlon Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Montero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello. He has the heart of a champion.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Well, as I love to say on this show, time flies by when you're having yourself a good time. It's Inside the Trenches. I'm your host, Marlon Favorite, and I appreciate you guys for listening in today. Shouts out to our guest Mario Jerez for coming on and talking a little bit of Saints OTAs with us. I know we'll get CL on later on this week, and we'll just keep this thing flowing the right way. Remember, y'all guys can follow me at BigFave504. We also want to take this time to thank today's show sponsor, Small Sliders, for all that they do. And we do want to take this moment to thank our other sponsors for the show as well. We want to give a shout out to Godwyn Realty. Definitely want to shout out Montero Motors. In addition to that, we definitely have to shout out Crown Car Wash and Conquer Sports Pros. New Orleans Talk Network. Remember, y'all can go to New Orleans Talk Network for more shows on the outside of mine. You got Red Lipstick Talk, Fan View. You also have, I mentioned Red Lipstick Talk already, the Live Line. There's Bible study here. It's tons of fun and interesting stuff to check out here aside from Inside the Trenches. All of that is on their YouTube streaming now. You can also go to the Inside the Trenches YouTube with Marlon Favorite. When you head there, you will see all of the shorts. Me and Tarek and Mike was just trying to be creative, so my page has most of the shorts, and their page has our full interviews and some shorts as well, and y'all can check that out. I spent this entire show talking about my favorite thing, and that's in terms of sports, is football, but I also want to make sure that y'all are checking out right now on TNT. The Mavs are taking on the Timberwolves. That's, again, to check out. As we know, the winner of this series will be taking on the Boston Celtics. That should be a fun watch for you guys as well. Speaking of fun watches, I thought that this show is known for sports and pop culture. I'm usually serenading you guys with my music and, our guests' music, but I thought that it would be cool since it's the summer. The kids are out of school now. We look for activities indoors sometimes. So I thought of a couple of my favorite football movies. If it's not already some of y'all saw already, a few that y'all should check out. So one of the movies on my list, one of my favorite movies to watch in terms of football movies, is Waterboy. I thought Waterboy was fun to watch. Adam Sandler usually put together really good hard-filled movies, but on that one, it featured South Louisiana, so that's what I liked about it the most. I want to say they shot that movie in Pinesville at Louisiana College. You can kind of tell by the colors, but Waterboy, the 1998 film, is definitely one of my favorites to watch. Next on my favorite football movies to watch is Any Given Sunday. I thought Al Pacino took his role from Scarface, like that intensity, and made it into a head football coach. You think of guys like Jamie Foxx in that movie, LL Cool J, like the energy from that movie. Like we always talk about when Jamie Foxx tell a story about when LL really had hit him. My coach actually featured in that movie and helped with the coordination of the football scenes in that movie, and that is Coach Pat O'Hara. Spent some time working on that and a couple other movies. Worked with Adam Sandler and Al Pacino and them for quite some time now. Also on my list is Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans, to me, was one of those movies, in my opinion. It talked about a lot of barriers in the United States, some of the stuff we're still dealing with, but even more back in the 60s and that time of segregation and Jim Crow. Denzel, probably one of his better projects in terms of those type of movies. The role he played was huge, and I just like even Woody Harris. I mean, Woody Harris did his thing in the New Edition series too. But even just the way that they depicted unity, right? That's one thing that football represents: unity. You can be from all creeds. I mean, I had teammates that were Islanders from like spoke Tonga and from those different places, and spent a lot of time at the University of USC or even Hawaii, University of Hawaii, right? Just different culture. Look at Tua Tagovailoa, right? That's just what this sport represents. Everybody coming together, and that's one thing that Remember the Titans really talked about, right? The Longest Yard, Burt Reynolds, Adam Sandler. The Longest Yard was one of those movies. First of all, it was a remake, right? The original Longest Yard was made in 1974 with Burt Reynolds, and then Burt Reynolds then again played in the classic with Nelly and Adam Sandler and Terry Crews and Chris Rock. It was funny. Of course, I'm gonna mention two of Adam Sandler's movies. They're always funny and really interesting. Now, another football movie that I really like to watch is Friday Night Lights. Now, it isn't my favorite. I'm going to reveal my favorite movie last. But Friday Night Lights, first and foremost, it dropped my freshman year at LSU. So I'm fresh out of high school football. By the way, shouts out to the Taylor brothers. One of my co-hosts, Brandon Taylor, who's with me on LSU Sports Radio, me, him, and Hunt. And his brother, Curtis Taylor, who looks just like Boobie Williams. Like, if you want to win, put Boobie in, right? I'm just laughing at how we used to because he really did look like. What's your boy from Antoine Fisher? I can't think of. Is it what's his name again? Derek Luke? No, I'm saying his name wrong. He played a couple of movies. I got a brain freeze over here, but I thought that Friday Night Lights, what it represented was an opportunity for you to see inside what high school football looks like if you're not already a follower of the deal, right? That's what I really appreciated about Friday Night Lights. It was familiar to everyone who has been in this realm, right? Who played high school football. It definitely hit it. Now, my last two favorite movies, and a couple of honorable mentions if we have some time I may mention, but my second favorite movie, I got a new favorite movie. I'm going to tell you about that too. I want y'all to check that out too. But my second favorite movie is The Program. The Program, to me, is the most realistic college football movie. Like, it's really up there. Like, the way that they wrote that script was almost to the T. Even the different characters, like you had your jocks who weren't as super intelligent. You had those guys. You had your jocks who may have been a little intelligent, but might have been taking enhancement drugs. You had your all-star quarterback. You had your all-star incoming rookie and Omar Epps. He came in as this superstar. Halle Berry played in that movie. Just every little piece and part of that movie was cool. The Program, if y'all hadn't watched it yet and you love football, that is my second favorite. And one movie just knocked it off the list. I'll mention that one in a second. But The Program has definitely been one of my favorite movies to watch, and it's a cool film to check out. Lastly, drum roll. It's fake drum roll. But anyway, my last movie on my list is When the Game Stands Tall. Jim Caviezel, Alex Lowen, and yours truly even principled in it, baby. That was my first major role at that time. I was playing, quick story here as we wrap here on Inside the Trenches, I was playing for the New Orleans Voodoo, and it just so happened, shouts out to Duke at the Duke Academy, Duke and Ryan Manali, they introduced me to the producers from When the Game Stands Tall. I matched the role of a big player that they needed. I auditioned for the role and made it, man. They even put me in a preview. It was a great experience. Had an opportunity to work with Jim Caviezel, Passion of the Christ, excellent actor, Alex Lowen. My boy Cedarius played in that Cedarius Blaine. He played in that movie. Is also a friend of the show. The actor I was talking about, I had it right. Derek Luke was in both of those movies we talked about. But just thinking back to working on When the Game Stands Tall at the time in New Orleans, we were filming a lot of movies and a lot of that stuff was going on. So I actually did 3 movies, but I principled in that one. I did 22 Jump Street. That was a cool movie, nice little honorable mention. And Focus. I thought Focus was pretty cool as well. But my favorite movie of all time is actually a movie I principled in, When the Game Stands Tall. Check it out. You can check it out everywhere. You get it on DVD, on your movie channel. You can search it on your deal. My character name in there was Buster Matthews. I had a nice little speaking role, and it was cool. So those are some summer football movies y'all could check out this summer while y'all kids are on break. Pop that on, really fun for the family. It's a nice spiritual movie too, like it was a lot of it's heartfelt family type stuff, but it was off the chain. Well, that does it, y'all, for another episode of Inside the Trenches. Remember, we'll be back 5 days a week. January, basically the start, whether it's July 29th or whenever training camp is we'll start our show back 5 days a week. Y'all stay tuned for our summer schedule. We'll have most of our shows on demand, but every Monday we live. We're going to have fun, special guests, tons of music, just a great time. It's Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite. Love y'all so much for checking us out, and we'll be back right here on ESPN New Orleans. Have a good one.